There are certain times when working with paths that you need to create an offset of that path. Let me explain exactly what I mean. I'm actually working with a file here. If you do have access to the exercise files, go ahead and open up from chapter 5, the offset path file. So what I'm doing now is I have this surfboard that I've created, and maybe I also want to maybe on the inside over here, create some kind of a design with like a border around it. It kind of comes out to the border just a little bit. So what I really need to do is kind of make a smaller version of the surfboard. However, you may know that when you try to scale objects that are not necessarily uniform in shape, the scale attributes are different from width and height. So what do I mean by that? Well, if I wanted to make, let's say, a smaller version of the surfboard, and we'll talk more about how I'm going to do this later on. We're going to learn about the transformation tools, but I'm actually going to use the scale tool inside of Illustrator to make this a smaller version. I'm going to make a copy of it as I do that. So notice that I have not the same amount of space between here as I do on the ends. So because, again, the surfboard itself is not that uniform kind of shape, like for example, it started out, it's kind of like close to an oval. So as I scale it, the scale is actually in proportion, but I don't necessarily get that exact same dimension that I might want in a particular design case. What I really want is I want the same amount of space to appear all the way around the inside of this. And I can do the same thing maybe if I wanted to have something along the outside as far as a border that way. So I'm going to press Command Z or Control Z just to undo that. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take this, I'm going to use the offset path command to get the exact result that I want. I'm going to go over here to the object menu. I'm going to choose path, and then I'm going to choose offset path. I'm going to get a dialog box because Illustrator needs to know how much do I want to offset by what amount. And what's great is that there's a little preview button. So for example, I type in preview, see how now I get basically the path itself is offset. I'm not getting an enlargement of that. It's not doing some kind of a scale, a proportional scale. It's actually offsetting the path so that it's completely even on all sides around that. And for example, right now it's at the 10 point, but I could do that maybe 20 point if I wanted a bigger one. But I actually want it to be on the inside. And the way that I can do that is basically specifying negative numbers. Let's say I do -10. And I hit the tab key. I can see now that the preview shows that I can now offset that path towards the inside of the path, again, because I use a negative number. And when I click OK, I now have that shape that I'm working with. Now I can maybe fill this with a color, and I'm good to go. So that way I get the exact look that I'm looking for. And again, I can do this as many times as I want to. Offset path is also something that's great to work on outline type. Basically gives you the ability to create these outlines that are perfect on all edges of the particular path, and it's not the same as if you had scaled it. So whenever you need it, offset path is there for you.